All right, well, we got kicked out.
Kicked us out. We're going.
We're leaving. Are we really going to let them just do a whole podcast?
Why not, man? 400 and however we are. Let the women have their time to shine, man. Ladies' night in the duck call room. Y'all check it out.
Ladies' night.
They're going to tell all, I'm sure, about us, so which is fine.
I think
They
women
got the
tell
green
all.
light, so y'all enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a red light. It's not on yet.
It will be a red light.
Well, hey,
Y'all check it out. We're out of here.
What am I supposed to do?
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
You're taking over.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm ready to unleash the beast.
I'm ready.
The guys are gone, so the girls are in control.
John David said to throw him under the bus, so.
Let's go. That's permission.
I know, right?
Uncle Si told me to throw him under the bus and run him over 100 times.
That's aggressive.
That's what he told me. I was like, how am I going to do that, Uncle Si? There's nothing bad to say about you. He was like, oh, you'll come up with something.
That's so funny. Well, hey, here we go. All the
Yeah.
secrets revealed.
Okay, so I guess we should introduce ourselves since this is a complete takeover. Alyson, you
All right. I'm John David's wife, Alyson. Happy to be here.
I am Al's wife, Lisa. And he is the best looking Robertson. So.
I'm Jacob's wife. I'm joking. I'm Bella. I am part of the fam, so.
And I am Brittany, and I am Martin's wife. It feels weird to say Martin, though, because
Yeah.
I'm like the only person that calls him Justin.
I feel so weird calling him Justin.
I know everyone
Me
says
too.
that.
I-
I feel weird calling him Martin.
That is
Like,
so-
You know what?
yeah.
When he first came around, everybody called him Martin. And I said, well, what's his last name? And they were like, Martin. And I said, his name is Martin. And they were like, no, his first name is Justin. I said, well, then why are we calling him Martin? Well, that's just what we do.
I actually remember Bella, you used to like point it out hard. You when I first met you, you'd be like, why do you call him Justin?
I was like 9 years old. By
She
the way.
was
I was
super
not-
young. So she was
Yeah.
super bold about it. She was like, why are you doing that? And I was like,
Well, I feel like I notice it way more now that he's married to you and your name is Brittany Martin.
yeah.
It's like, then it makes me think like, oh, that's not his name because that's your last name. you know?
Right. It'd be weird for me since we're married.
All right.
We have some questions to answer that you guys sent in.
So one of the questions that I thought was really funny that someone asked was, what's the worst gift you've ever gotten from your husband? And I think it's so funny because I feel like I've talked about this with a lot of like girlfriends and my mom and my sisters and everything. And I feel like everyone has a story that's like, no way that happened. And so I don't know. Does anyone else have that story?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, I do for sure.
Okay. Well, I'll start.
Yeah.
So last Christmas morning comes around and I got Jacob a gift. Well, of course, we're going to open presents. And Jacob's like, I don't have anything for you. And I thought he was joking. And he'd been like saying this for like the past few weeks, but I thought it was all a joke. So Christmas morning comes. There's no gift under the tree. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's Christmas morning. No present at all. And I was like,
Not even a stocking?
no, not a stocking. Nothing in the stocking. Nothing under the tree. There's one gift under the tree. It says to Jacob from Bella. That's it.
That is.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, what would possess you to do this? Well, Jacob is like, what are you talking about? So let's back it up. December 1st, me and Jacob go on a trip to Dallas. And we're in Dallas, and I wanted a cowboy hat at a store. It was like a $90 cowboy hat. And Jacob's like, Bella, you do not need the cowboy hat. And I'm like, I want the cowboy hat. Like, what? I always need a cowboy hat. And Jacob's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, what about when we go to the rodeo? He's like, you never go to the rodeo. I'm like, but I always need a cowboy hat. And he was like, no, you don't. So I said, famous last words, this could be part of my Christmas.
In there. He took it to heart.
Jacob said, there's your Christmas present. And on Christmas morning, he goes, I did get you a Christmas present. That cowboy hat. I was like,
Are you
the
serious?
cowboy hat I got a month ago that I don't even remember is my Christmas present? So that was my story. And I was so mad because then the whole Christmas day, we had to go to my parents, his mom's, his dad's, my grandparents, and everywhere we go, you know what the first question everybody asks?
What'd he get you?
What'd you get for
And
Christmas?
wear your cowboy
And I
hat.
say, nothing. And then Jacob says, yes, you did. Tell him what you got. And I say, I got nothing. And Jacob would say, no, tell him what you got. And I would say, a cowboy hat. I got a cowboy
A month
hat.
ago.
A month
I
ago.
picked out a month ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great.
That was my worst Christmas gift. And this year, he completely made a 180. He
Okay.
learned from his mistakes from last year. He got me 2 gifts that I wanted and 1 gift that I didn't know about, which was
That's
great.
awesome.
Bravo,
He
Jacob.
had a full turnaround.
Mhm.
He
Look.
learned it the hard way, but he had a turnaround. So.
I resonate with Jacob because that is just not my strength, is gift giving. And that is John David's strength. He's a great gift giver. He is constantly giving gifts. And I feel so bad because like that's one of his love languages. One of them. He's like all the love languages. But I just like I struggle. And so this Christmas, he did fail a little bit. Or maybe it was last year. I don't know. Maybe it was both years. So life is crazy with 3 kids, like after school, all the things. And like I love to cook, but like now it's kind of more like a chore, you know, like it's just another thing I have to do. And so I'm trying to get into the crock pot.
Oh wait, I heard about this. Your failed crock pot recipe. I
Well,
heard
yeah,
about.
like all of them, because like there's just not good ones out there. I have like maybe 3, and it's like last night I made pulled pork, and it's the exact same recipe I make in the oven. And he was like, "Did you do something different?" And I was like, "No, it's just the crock pot." And so like it's just not great, but like it really is helpful. So anyway, he decided to get me last year and this year a crock pot cookbook. Well, every time I make something out of the crock pot cookbook, he like doesn't say anything at dinner. And I'm like, you hate it, don't you? And he was like, oh yeah, it's just not good. Like I wouldn't make it again. And I'm like, well, you got me the cookbook, you know? Like I'm just trying to cook something that you gave me. But so I don't know. But anybody have any good crock pot recipes? I
Did
really
you try
need
that Mississippi pot roast?
I never
recipe?
did.
You
But like I
should.
make
Gotta try
pot
that.
roast all
Oh,
the
it's
time
so
in
good.
it. And I'm like, my family's sick of pot roast.
But
you know?
this is with chicken, so
Oh,
it's
is
like
it chicken?
yeah, it's
I
chicken.
need to
You
go
can
back.
put anything in it. Yeah.
Yes,
Look at that
like you can put it in a
I've never
taco.
used a
You can
crock
put it on a
pot.
Hawaiian roll.
And
I
it's
just
not
eat it with a
dry?
cracker sometimes. No,
It's like every time I made chicken in
Because
the crock pot, it's dry.
there's a giant stick of butter in it,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
and you have au jus. There's multiple things that go into it that
Okay.
it's
I need
Now,
you
if you're trying to eat-
send me that.
If you're trying to eat healthy, the stick of butter on top might not be exactly
Yeah.
the
Hey,
key.
you know, it's
but
okay.
for flavor,
Yeah.
it works.
it's really
Hey,
good.
we're just surviving a lot of days, so like I'll take the stick of butter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the kids will really like it too. We
Yeah.
love it. We cook it like once or twice every week. Like
Great.
Yeah, I
if you
love
have
it.
any other crock pot recipes, I will take ones you have tried and are good.
I will
I've
have
never tried
Anna
the
send you
crock pot
some.
before.
Yes.
you haven't?
Never used one.
Yeah. Mine horrible gift is a reoccurring gift. I was getting Justin and I have we've been together for 12 years, married for 10 in May, and ever since the beginning, he has gotten me every year these super thick, fluffy, fuzzy socks.
John David got me those this year too. Maybe they're on the same page.
I bet you it was Justin's idea. And
The same socks every year?
They're
Are
different
they like
patterns.
a stocking gift?
Yeah, like they're like stocking stuffers. But when I tell you, they're not like
Wait,
the.
he stuffs his stocking?
He does. He's actually pretty
that's
good.
David
great.
does.
Jacob's never stuffed
Yeah.
a
Well,
stocking before.
I will say once
We have
Your
we,
Uncle Al had.
yeah, I was just about to
They're
say,
curious.
we were doing that, and it was all like happy and stuff until we had kids, and now we haven't gotten each other Christmas gifts since the kids were born, so that kind of came to a halt. It'll pick back up, I'm sure, but right now we're surviving twins, so it's all
Yeah.
about them at the moment. But it was actually since we're just now coming out of the we're still surviving, but we were really surviving like the first 2 years. And so he did get me a stocking this year, and he put those fuzzy socks in there. And when I tell you, they're not like the soft, like these are bulky, the ones with like grips on the bottom.
Are they the
Mhm.
barefoot?
Mhm.
The Blank, you know,
I
the
love
blanket?
those ones.
I have
Hopefully
those
not.
socks.
No.
Those are my
I-
favorites.
These are from
am
Academy.
so sweaty.
I
Like
was
you
about
couldn't
to
wear
say,
shoes with
No
them.
way
They're so
Martin
thick.
was getting the barefoot dream socks.
No
Martin
way. He has no
is the
idea.
Academy.
No. I
shopper.
wish he was good. If you want to get me the barefoot dream socks,
No,
I'm okay
you'd
with
be
that.
sweating, and
Also,
you can't wear shoes.
Who needs 12 pairs of fuzzy socks?
That's
You
another
need
thing. That's what I'm saying.
One pair.
So I have been stashing these socks in a bag all these years.
Oh my
And I've never worn them. They all have the tags on them.
Re-gift.
And I always plan to regift them, and then I just forget about them because they're up on the top of my
Now you
closet
can't
away.
re-gift them. If anybody ever gets fuzzy
Listen,
socks,
I was like, okay, we're about to spend the rest of our life. We are spending the rest of our lives together. I have got to end this madness. So this year, I got the guts to finally tell him, and I was like, please stop buying me these socks. And I went and showed him the bag, and I was like, these are the socks of the years. And
Has
he was
he
like, you
not
haven't worn.
noticed?
No, he don't notice.
oh my goodness.
No, I was like, my feet sweat just looking at these. I cannot, you can't wear them with shoes. You can't, not to mention some of the patterns he picked out, bless his heart, are just,
Aw.
it's just, reindeer. You can only wear them once a year. And I'm like, please stop wasting your money on these socks.
That
Please.
is
That's
great.
What? How did he react to that?
Of course he was fine, but then he took it as an opportunity to be like, oh, well, I'm never going to get you anything ever again. I'm never going to, went all out. And it's a funny little joke now. And I'm like,
That is
no, you can buy me socks, but like some workout socks, or if that's what you want to stuff my stocking with.
Nike socks.
Some new Nike
Yeah,
socks.
donate
Yeah,
them
I'd
for
love.
listening.
Everyone needs new socks every year. Tough out the old ones.
Hey, spring cleaning is here because spring is here and it's time to declutter. It's time to refresh. And one thing you need to do is refresh your nutrition and your daily habits. The days are getting longer. Spring's here. And AG1 is also here for you. AG1 is one of the easiest things you can do for your health. AG1 can help support your digestion, your energy levels, your skin health from within, feel satisfied with less stacking, help you adapt to stress, and so many more things. And unlike other supplements that come and go, AG1 is a habit that actually sticks because you can feel the difference. Stone, you drinking AG1?
Oh, it's super fast and easy. A lot faster than a green bean casserole.
There you go. AG1's travel packs make it easy to stay consistent no matter where you are. Tossing a pack just like the one I'm holding here into your backpack or purse means you'll be prepared for whatever adventure comes your way. Si, you're a big adventurer.
Hey, I'm telling you.
And all you need is one scoop of AG1 to take on that adventure. Look, while other supplements make big claims without the research, AG1 is formulated based on the latest science in nutrition and wellness. AG1's got 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients right there in one scoop. And as Si likes to say,
Hey, it'll take care of it all.
one scoop will do you. When it comes to your health, we want something we can trust, and that's why we choose AG1 with science-backed ingredients and real benefits we can feel. AG1 makes it easy to support overall wellness every day, and that's why we've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/duck to get this offer. Drinkag1.com/duck, and that's going to get you started on a healthier note.
So I'll tell you how I met Al. So I was in the 6th grade, and I was a social butterfly. So I knew everybody in school, knew everybody that lived around me. I mean, I just loved people, and I still do. But and I see this boy, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that is the cutest boy I've ever seen in my life. And so I said, so I went to the office. I'm like, Miss Anna, who is this new guy? So she tells me who he is, and then he had 2 snot-nosed little brothers with him, Jason. At the time, it was Jason and Jess.
Yeah.
That was their names back then. He never even noticed me, but I followed him around during recess, fire drills, whatever,
You were there.
I was there. I was just looking for him. I just thought he was so cute. But he never knew I existed. That year he left. He went to another school and then went to high school. So I didn't see him again until I was in the 10th grade and he was in the 12th grade. We used to drive around McDonald's parking lot. And so on Friday and Saturday. So I drove around and saw one of my friends, one of my cousins. And so I stopped and talked to him. And so about that time, Al's head pops in my window and I'm like, ooh, I remember him. And anyway, so he looks in at me and he goes, whoa. And so whenever we're speaking, I usually tell everybody, so whoa, you don't know what that is. That means you filled out.
You grew up.
In
goodness.
redneck, you know. And
That's
so
hilarious.
he, you know, so then he asked me out. So I was 15 and he was 16 because we're only a year apart in age. And so we went out, but he was not the sweet guy that I remembered. I mean, he was still sweet, but he also was dabbling a little in alcohol and, you know, doing some recreational drugs. And so our first date was not a very memorable one. You know, I ended up in the back seat with him, passed out. Fast forward, and he comes back. So he leaves and goes to find his way in New Orleans, you know, not long after. But anyway, so then at 18, whenever he came back into town, after sowing his wild oats, you know, he called me, but I had a like a really serious boyfriend. But, you know, I always knew he probably wasn't it because he wasn't Al, you know. And so he called me one day and he said, hey, I'm back in town. I said, yeah, I know. And he said, well, I heard that you have been dating somebody quite seriously. And so I thought, this is my chance. Yes, I have. And we are getting married. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to tell him what a good guy that he was, you know. And he goes, well, you want to go out on Friday? And I said,
Bold.
yep. And so I just dropped that guy, you know.
Hot rock.
And yeah, like a hot rock. And within 7 months we were married. So
That is such
yeah.
a funny story.
So that's, you know, that's kind of that's
the
the
Robertson boys
very
must have
fast
been
way.
so cute because my mom says the same thing. When she was in 3rd grade, she saw him and thought, that was the cutest boy I've ever seen.
yeah.
I've seen
They
earlier
are.
pictures of all of them,
Yeah.
and it's the dimples. There's lots of
Yeah.
things that they have working for
My
them.
man
for
is
sure.
still a good looking man. I'm telling you.
I love old Al.
That's so sweet. So, I'm from Shreveport. Hunter, he is not a fan. But anyway, I'm from Shreveport and John David's lived here his whole life. And so I have family that's lived here too. And so in the summertime, I would come stay with my cousin. I'm the only child. So she was like my sister and growing up because she had a younger brother too who was like way younger than her. So we were like sisters. And so I would come visit and stay like the week with her. And then we went to Whites Ferry Road where I met Lisa. And I would go visit with her in the youth group, and John David was in the youth group. So one summer night after youth group, we went to Cane's, and we just so happened to sit near each other. And my cousin was dating her now husband, but they like were so a PDA, like got on my nerves. I was like, they were, you know, I couldn't even drive. I was in the back seat and they're like driving. I'm like the third wheel and they're like, oh, I love you. And I'm like, And so we get to Cane's and like she's getting up to just like go refill her drink and was like, I love you. I'll be right back. And like kissed him. And I said, get a room. And that is what stole John David's heart. And so he messaged me on Facebook and like the rest is history. You
I
know?
love that. I don't think I've ever heard that.
That is
Yeah.
so funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you want to go? You go first.
Okay. Like I said, I am not from here. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee. So it is weird that we ended up it was a God thing for
Yeah,
sure.
that's right.
He intervened in that way. But we actually had a mutual friend. And Justin at the time was doing like lots of things like NWTF, like shows like that go on a lot in Nashville. And I'm pretty sure that's what he was up there for. And we all just ended up hanging out. And it's funny because at the time, Duck Dynasty, they may have been filming. I'm not sure if it had aired yet. Or if it had aired, I was not a watcher. I did not watch it. So it's actually funny because I asked him what he did for a living. And he said he built duck calls, and I laughed at him. I did not know that was a real job. I was like, what's a duck call? I was like, what do you really do? And he goes, that's what I really do. I build duck calls. And I was like, I have so many questions for this. And we were friends for about a year before he just really showed me Jesus in a way that I had never seen before. And that's because I wasn't moving to West Monroe, Louisiana. I knew exactly where he was from. He's from here his whole life. And I was like, I'm not leaving Nashville to go down there. Talk about a culture shock. And after about a year, he said he was just about to give up on me. It's so funny. Like, when I finally was like, you know what, let's date. Let's like really do this. Because I had never dated anyone like him. I had always been cheated on. He was just so kind to a point that I had never experienced before. And I was like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? Give a guy like this a chance, you know?
Yeah.
And he has literally been that way since then.
Sweet.
So no regrets. Love Louisiana now.
I don't know what it is about this small town, but
Yeah.
like everybody brings their spouse home.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't want to at first, and then they end up like loving it. Like same here. It took me
because you're from a
few
big city
years,
too. Yeah.
But now I'm like, I love the people here.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh. Every time I go home to visit Nashville, I'm like, you couldn't pay me
Yeah.
to move back here. The traffic, it's a totally different than how I grew up now. Nashville even itself is different. And I'm just like, nope, take me back home to West Monroe. I love it down
I'm
there.
the same way.
Well, me and Jacob have a modern romance. We started dating during quarantine. In 2019, I started going to a new youth group, and his sister was the youth leader, I guess, at the time. She's now the youth pastor, but she was the youth leader at the time. And she's like 4 or 5 years older than me. She's Sadie's age. And me and her just instantly clicked. We were like best friends right off the bat. And we got so close together. And during that time, my parents were going on some tour for like 6 weeks. And so my mom was like, asked Kaylee, she was like, hey, do you mind staying with Will, Bella, and Rowdy at our house? Just make sure the house is running good, make sure they go to school pretty much. So Kaylee stayed with us for 6 weeks. And me and Kaylee became like, literally sisters during that time. But she had a brother who was a college baseball player. So Jacob played baseball in college and was kind of living his like wild college years. And I always knew about Jacob, but never met him, never seen him. He was a college baseball player, so he didn't really come home that often. And I had just heard about him. And one time I saw him, I was leading a Bible study, and she brought him there. And we like said hi to each other, and that was just it. We never talked about it again. And then that fall, it was like Christmas break, and Jacob came home for like the month of December for Christmas, Thanksgiving breakish. And we started hanging out a little just with Kaylee still all together. And we kind of got to be friends. And then Kaylee was like, shut it down. She was like, your last name will never be Mayo. Famous last words. She was like, you will never date my brother, which in her defense, he was living his crazy college days.
She knew what he was doing.
Like, you do not need to be with him and all this stuff. Well, I didn't know this at the time, and I don't know if she did either, but during that Christmas break, he was really like trying to like go to church and trying to get better, trying to like figure out what he's going to do with his life. And so that's why he was spending so much time with his sister, because he was like, I just like don't want to hang out with my old friends. I just want to like do better. So he was hanging out with me and Kaylee a lot. And quarantine happened and Jacob moved back home. And so we pretty much quarantined together. We like were at each other's house every day. And my parents have tennis court and fun things. So he would come over every single day and play on the tennis court. We played tennis every day. We played basketball. We were making TikToks. We were just like having we had nothing to do all day but hang out with
Quarantine
each other.
fun.
Yeah.
Quarantine fun. We were making all these TikToks and people were commenting like, "Are y'all dating? Are y'all dating?" And we were like, "No." Like,
Maybe.
you know.
Spring is here, and I love it. It's worth it. I'm like, I'll take all the allergies for this beautiful weather.
Ain't that the truth? It's 80 and beautiful. And you know what that means? It's time to get outside.
Go fishing.
Go fishing. But look, if you can't spend time on the pond because the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour, spend time in your yard and make it more beautiful with our friends over at Fast Growing Trees.
Grow some trees to slow the wind down. That's right.
Because Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the United States with thousands of different plants and over 2 million happy customers. Hey, I am a big fan of fruit trees, and Fast Growing Trees has a ton of plants, including fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, and shrubs, all tailored to your climate and space with an easy online ordering process and quick delivery straight to your door. Plus, with their Alive and Thrive guarantee and expert support, your plants will arrive healthy, and you'll receive guidance on choosing the right plants and learn how to properly care for them. So if you don't have a green thumb, it's not a problem. They have a whole team there to help you. Some people got big yards, some got small, some got no yards, but Fast Growing Trees has over 6,000 plants to fit any space, from indoor plants to fruit trees to full-size privacy trees and more. And you don't have to drive around all weekend looking for plants from a limited selection. You get on there, find your zone, click what you need.
I always fail at helping you through this ad because I get just captivated.
Now you're looking at something that you don't.
I'm trying to find a catappa tree.
Oh, yeah. They turn into cat.
Oh, yeah. I got plenty of them.
Ooh, hey.
Well, I'm going to order me one.
That's another win-win situation.
They have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code
Duck
at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code
Duck
at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code
Duck.
Now's the perfect time to plant. Use
Duck
to save today. Offers valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
and save some money.
To throw it back to Jacob's podcast last week, do you know what I'm about to talk about?
The ceiling
fan. Okay. I've been waiting to clear the air on this. So Jacob, I guess that's kind of a pun, but Jacob was on the podcast and they asked him what was it? His pet peeve about me?
Yeah.
Okay. They asked him what his pet peeve about me was. And he said that, his words, not mine, I don't believe in a ceiling fan. But I believe in them. I know they are. The thing is that I think ceiling fans are not meant to be used every single night. They're just meant to be used on demand. When you're warm, you turn on the fan.
Mine's on right now.
When you're hot,
Ours has not been off in years.
Jacob, every night.
We went
It
out
has
of
to turn
town.
on.
It's on.
No, that is not my.
Why
Like,
though? Do you just?
It makes my eyes water.
Yeah, I get that.
It
I do
makes
get
me
that.
cold. It makes my eyes water. It makes me not want to get out of the bed every morning. I'm
Which
like,
you already
Jacob,
struggle
I
with
cannot get out of the bed.
Getting out of the
Yes.
bed. Yeah.
If
I
it's
cannot
off,
get out. I can't take the
breathe.
covers
Yeah.
off me
Mhm.
if that air is blowing. Like
No.
if I take the covers off, I feel like I'm just gonna shrivel up and die.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't get out of the bed in the morning when it's on. So every morning, even if Jacob's not waking up when I'm waking up, I'm like, turn off the fan, turn off the fan. And then he has to get up, turn off the fan so I can just get out of the covers because it's
Oh
too
my
cold.
gosh.
Mhm.
But I'm like, if it's hot in the room, no problem. We can turn it on. It's just it does not need to be used every night.
You would not survive a second in our bedroom.
Well, Jacob leaves it on every night. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
we not
There's
only
no compromise in this family. Jacob is like, nope, sorry. Like, and he always says to me, I can't sleep cold. I mean, I can't sleep hot. And
Yeah.
I'm always like, well, I can't sleep cold. But there's no arguing with this man. It is on every night.
I would
We've
rather
need a
never
remote
be in
control.
like a sweatsuit with the ceiling fan on. Like
Same.
I like when there's no airflow, I get like I suffocate. Like I cannot drive in the car without the air on.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
my air off.
because
or
like
on
when there's no
blasting heat
airflow, I
all the
can't
time.
breathe.
Mhm.
after you have kids,
I've been
that'll be
blasting the
different.
heat all day, every day this week.
Yeah,
In the
wait
heat. I
wait
don't
till
care in
you
the car.
wait till you get to menopause.
Yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, sometimes I get a hot flash and I'm like, nope, gotta
Too
have
much.
some air.
Yeah. We have 3 fans going. So we have the ceiling fan that I can't tell you, embarrassingly, the last time it was turned off. It probably needs to be
I
cleaned.
know, same.
It's probably really bad. That it stays on. And then we each have a like mini fan on both sides.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But he's a psycho because he only sleeps with a sheet with all that going on. Whereas I like to be cold, but I have these like warm blankets. I have like 2 blankets, then the comforter, and then the sheet. And like that, I like to bundle up like that. And then by the time the morning rolls around, I'm kind of hot from all the sheets. So when I get out of the covers, I'm like, okay, this is a breath of fresh air, you know?
Jacob needs one of those little fans just so we can turn off the big fan.
Yeah, that's a good compromise.
But does it ruin the aesthetics, but the vibes?
Yes.
with the fan.
100%. Our room is
That's
not
my
cute.
worry.
I want to say that Justin said that I was going to throw him under the bus, which I, the stories I have about Martin is what I call him, but the stories that I have about him are not. We can't share them on here. I wrote on my piece of paper. I brought a cheat sheet. One of the things I said was, Martin thinks he knows everything.
Ugh.
But here's the problem.
He kind of
usually does.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. It's
I
so
know.
annoying.
And Cy thinks he knows everything and never does. I mean, whatever he's talking about, he has no idea what he's talking about. He just says, "Oh no, yeah, this is it right here," and he has no idea.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 things that I thought about with Martin and Cy, is that they each think they know everything, and one really does, and one has no clue.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Not knowing everything.
The thing
can be
about Cy,
impressive.
he makes me laugh more than anybody in the world. I love Cy to death. But when he says no, yeah, when you're talking, it always makes me think I'm saying something wrong. No. And I'm like, oh, what am I saying? Yeah. I agree.
His
with
nose
that. And I'm
mean,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
You just said no. I'll be talking, you'll be like, no. And I'll be like, oh, what did I say? And but I totally agree with that. Like,
No,
you just said no.
Yeah.
I'm so
I love
confused.
that, man.
That is a quirk about Cy.
He tried
He is a
to
man of many quirks, but that is a quirk.
mini quirks.
Yeah.
He when we first, it was like one of the first few times that I had been around Cy, long time ago. Remember we used to go to NASCAR races all the time? This was at one of those NASCAR races, and I was working the merch like bus or whatever. I was helping them out, I'd say. I wasn't getting paid or anything. But we took a break, and Cy and I were sitting on the side, and he was like trying to get to know me, I guess, just one of those things. And I told him I was in college. I was like in my senior year. I had just started my senior year of college. And he was like, you should just quit. And I was like, don't say that to me, because I'm in my senior year and I want to quit. I don't want to be here. I'm done with this. Like, he's like, you don't need it. You'll be fine. You'll do great. Just quit. And I was like, and Justin was just looking at me. He's like, don't quit. Because I had already been talking to Justin about like, oh, I just don't want to push this last like little bit. I'm over it. And I was doing college like long distance at that point. So I was doing it online, which was even worse. Like, I hated doing it online. It just wasn't for me. But yeah, that was one of my earliest of Cy.
Yeah. Well, I love that Cy at church, Cy sits on the end of the pew and he sings louder
So loud.
than everybody else. And then also when Alan's preaching, he preaches, Al's making a point and Cy's in his seat back in the middle of the auditorium and he's making a point.
He's backseat preaching.
Yeah. But everybody loves to hear Cy sing. It's not that great, but everybody loves it because it comes from the heart.
It really does.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I have one more funny Cy story. This is at Whites Ferry Road. And Justin and I had like maybe just got married. And Cy came in wearing a Sports Illustrated windbreaker jacket. It like had the Saints logo on it, and it said SI on the for Sports Illustrated. He had the copyright and everything. And Justin and I were lucky enough to sit beside him that day in church. And Justin was just making fun. He goes, "Oh, look, they put your name on it." And he goes, "I know, right?" Like he legitimately thought that they custom made that for him and that it was his name.
Hilarious.
And Justin and I started giggling. We never told him. We were
Yeah.
like, "I'm pretty sure that stands for Sports Illustrated," but
One thing people don't know is that I planned y'all's wedding.
yes. And Al was
Really?
our officiant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In
I
Gulf
didn't know that. It
Shores.
was so beautiful.
Yeah. It was so hot.
Yeah, it was. So hot.
My only regret. I thought being on the bay side, we'd have like some airflow.
Yeah.
No, not in the least bit.
The start of a new year is a perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. And for all of us in the Duck Call Room, a top priority is financial wellness. Thanks to Rocket Money, we can all reach our goals.
They'll make it happen.
It cuts out the waste. You know where you're wasting money. They help you remember subscriptions and things you signed up for because you wanted to watch that one show at one time, and then you're like,
Now you got boat money if you cut out all them subscriptions.
Rocket Money is the personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place, and if you see something you don't want, Rocket Money can help you cancel it. Look, Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all your accounts. You can create a personalized budget to help keep your spending on track, get alerts if bills increase in price or if there's unusual spending activity. Plus, the new goals feature automatically saves money for you. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate to lower your bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with customer service so you don't have to. Rocket Money has over 5 million users.
Millions.
That's millions, brother.
That's what an M, baby.
Yeah, and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features.
That's crazy.
I could go for
That's a lot of money.
$740 extra.
Oh, hey, I'd enjoy doing that, putting it back in my pocket.
Look, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/duck today. That's rocketmoney.com/duck. One more time, rocketmoney.com/duck.
Well, since we're throwing our husbands under the bus, I feel like we haven't thrown them hard enough because John David told me to, and the crock pot's not that big of a deal. Why don't we talk about the toxic traits, like one of the toxic traits your husband has, or the pet peeve? That was one of the questions. I'm like, which one should I choose?
I know exactly which one comes to mind for me.
Okay, well, I'll go. So it is a toxic trait because it's passed down to our kids now. It drives me insane, but like we've been married for 14 years now. So I literally I just don't say anything, and I never really have because it's very little, but it does still drive me crazy every single day. Every single day, John David gets home from work or whatever. He'll sit on the couch and he takes his socks off and he'll stuff them in the couch or just leave them on the floor. And sometimes I'm like, where's the other sock? Well, now our kids, it's really just Carter, and they are literally spitting images of each other. They're alike in so many ways. And I'm like, I don't think this is a learned behavior. And it's so weird. I really think he just can't help it. And I don't know if his dad does it, but maybe. But Carter does. And it is it's crazy to me. So now I'm picking up all these socks, finding all these socks stuffed here and there. You'll find one in the kitchen, one in the couch, and I'm like,
never together.
No. And so my sock drawer, mine always has matches. And if you go in his sock drawer, I think maybe 3 pair of socks out of all of them have a match. And I'm like, where do they go? But now I'm like, well, because they're stuffed in the couch and all things.
Sometimes whenever I do, because I'll do Alex's laundry sometimes because she kind of gets overwhelmed with laundry. I've never understood that people hate to do laundry. I love to do laundry. It does not bother me at all. Anyway, so sometimes she gets a little overwhelmed, so I'll do her laundry. I mean, we've got 7 socks. I'm like, 7? A pair would have been 8 socks, and none of them match. Not one of them that comes over. I hate to do her laundry because I can't match socks. She's like, yeah, she's like, Mom, just put them in there. We'll wear them. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, no, they're supposed to match.
It does matter.
Yeah.
And well, maybe they have that same toxic trait.
Yeah, Justin's kind of like that. which leads me into my pet peeve about Justin. He is so messy. His truck,
We know. From
his office,
John David is
I can
too.
only imagine his closet.
his nightstand.
Oh yeah.
And I am the exact opposite. I would say I'm borderline OCD.
Same.
I like a clean. I like to have everything in a spot and all the things. And he is the exact opposite. Every time I walk past, I don't know how you look at his office because y'all are like,
Well, most of the time I go in there, I said, Martin, you need to clean your office. And he says, I just cleaned it. And I'm like,
I need to go look after
literal
this. when my head opens.
trash on his desk. If you go get in his truck, he has to sweep trash
David's the
off of it.
same
Jacob's the
way.
same way about his truck. It's a guy thing about
Okay,
the
I'm
truck.
glad that he's not. Because I
awful.
was like, and when you said passing it down to children, ours are 2. And I was like, you need to lock it up. You need to lock it up before they start realizing and they start taking on these little tendencies. Because I know they're not going to get it from me. I'm a clean freak over here. Like,
No.
you got to get it together. He just doesn't care.
Me and Jacob, I feel like, are similar, like, in the way, the truck thing. But my nightstand is always, I mean, I'll have 10 coffee cups from every morning on my nightstand. But Jacob brings me, this is the best trait about Jacob. He brings me coffee every morning while I'm still
Aw.
asleep,
That's awesome.
which is the best ever.
That is the best.
But then
so
I
sweet.
drink it in bed,
And
and
I
then I just
same.
set the coffee cup on my nightstand.
Yeah.
And Jacob, every few days, comes by and he's like, and then he like grabs all the coffee cups and he's like, I just want you to see, this is a problem. You need to fix this. But that's mine. That's mine.
Well, I do have a
It's the
confession.
coffee
then.
cup thing.
As much of a neat freak as I am, my nightstand is not messy, but and it's not coffee, but it's water.
Water bottles. Mine
I have
too.
water
But I
bottles
mean,
that just
I'll, like,
accumulate on
I'll
my
get 'em,
nightstand.
you know, every couple of days.
I have water cups, water bottles. I have all the things, and then
Mhm.
But
at the end of
this
the
is-
week, I just
This
grab
is
them.
another boy thing, I feel like, and y'all can tell me if y'all's husbands is the same, but it's like at night before bed, I like to clean the room, get it all tidy before the next day. Because most of the time in the morning, I'm not a morning person, so I'm rushing, and I have
Yeah.
like 3 outfits I tried on that morning laying there. So I'll like put up all the clothes I tried on that morning and put the laundry up and everything like that. But Jacob always, without fail, has like clothes beside his bed that I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey,
He
like,
just
are these dirty or clean? I'm gonna wear them tomorrow. But then he never wears them tomorrow. But he's like, oh, they're clean. But
John
I'm gonna
David
wear
does
them
that.
tomorrow. It's always like a pair of shorts that he wore for a little bit that he's like, I'm gonna wear that tomorrow. But then it turns into a pile of I'm gonna wear that tomorrow clothes, you know?
yeah, John
Yeah.
David, like recently, he told me, hey, if it's on the bathroom counter, it's clean. Well, 2 weeks go by and it's still there. And so I just start throwing it all in the dirty clothes. Like, I'm
So
sorry.
I'm like, can I put it up? Well, don't put it up because I'm gonna wear it. But then it's still there the next day.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one.
No, as far as laundry goes, Justin, there's 2 things. The holes in his socks.
John David.
If I'm doing
what
the
do they do? And I know this is
The
so
hole will be
off
this
topic,
big.
but I have got to get this off my chest. And like, do y'all have holes in your sheets?
No, but
John David's heels or something digs into them, and it's like where he sleeps will get a hole. And
Justin
his dad
ripped
does
ours
it too.
with his toenail once, and
Jacob
I
did that one time. a
I
long
cut
time
that
ago.
out real quick. I said, "Let me check your toes."
It is weird. His dad is the same way with where the holes are in his sheets. I've never heard of anything like it in my life.
Boys are gross.
It is weird.
Mhm.
And it's like we have to get new sheets because he just gets a hole in it. It's like the way his
And
feet
sheets
are.
aren't cheap.
He's flat footed. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It may be
Ogre toes.
ogre toes.
When we were first married, we had a water bed,
Ooh, I remember water beds.
and our
Really?
water bed had satin sheets on it.
Oh,
That sounds
Extra.
awesome.
I
Jacob's
mean-
grandparents
Slide.
have that exact setup.
Yeah, yeah.
never let it die.
We loved it, but after about, I don't know, 6 months, then our sheets got holes in them because of Al's feet. You know, because their heels are so rough.
Yeah,
How does
And,
that happen?
yeah.
So the best thing is, I got to tell y'all, you got to get your man to get a pedicure.
LOL.
I
Hey,
mean,
they did that.
it's the best. So for years,
Forcefully.
I've said, you got to get a pedicure, these feet. Because, I mean, you know, if he comes over to my side and starts rubbing my leg.
Oh no, get
You
those
know, I'm like,
grasshopper legs off
yeah.
me.
So So I said, you got to get a pedicure. He would not do it. No, I'm not getting a pedicure. So we're on a cruise ship one day, and I said, look, babe, nobody is here that you know.
Yeah.
Nobody is
Perfect
ever
place.
going to know that
that's
you
how
got
you
a
did it.
pedicure. He goes and gets a pedicure.
Loved it.
He's hooked.
What's certain in life?
Death, taxes, Jesus.
You came up with some other ones there. I like it.
Hey,
But
there's another one though.
What?
Hey, pure talk.
Pure
Oh.
saving
Hey, tell it
money.
like it is,
With
baby.
Pure Talk, you could save a fortune if you're with Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Let me tell you a little something. There's another truth. You could be saving you a
That's right. 'Cause
truckload of money.
they actually use the cell phone, as a phone. They
as a
talking to
phone. That's right. Pure Talk, our sponsor and my cell phone company, is cutting the fat from the wireless
it.
industry.
Oh, boys, we're cutting the pork now,
For
boys.
just
That's what I'm talking about.
$25 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. And listen to this. The average family of 4 saves over $1,000 a year when they switch to Pure Talk. That's real money right back in your pocket. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch hassle-free in as little as 10 minutes.
10
You can
minutes.
even keep your phone number that you already have. Or if you're looking to upgrade your current device, they can help with that too. Switching is easy. I know because I did it and I'm now a proud Pure Talk customer. They love to support veterans and veteran causes. They've donated $50,000 to provide scholarships to support veterans learning trades after active duty. They're helping eliminate veteran debt and they're raising donations to end veteran suicide. So I think that's something we can all get behind.
That's it.
So I got one more request. Go do this. Go to puretalk.com/duck to make the switch, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, that's puretalk.com/duck to start saving today. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Right.
We can do a little short summary of each of our testimonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to start off?
Alyson, you start since you said this
Sure.
is your like answer.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Well, so I grew up in a very religious based church. We had like 100 people, 7 in the youth group. And we never talked about I never heard the word like grace or Holy Spirit or anything. And so I just viewed God as this like big man upstairs going to strike me down with lightning, if I mess up. And so I realized as I grew up, the more I walk with God, or I wasn't walking with him, nothing bad was happening to me. And so I was like, is God really real? He's not like putting any roadblocks in my life. And so I just started living a double life of I'm going to act this way at church and with my family and a different way with friends. And then I moved here for college and went to a new church and they started talking about grace a lot. And I was like, I've never really heard that word. And so a seed was planted. And then as naturally, as you mature in life, get married, have kids and all of that, you mature and grow. And I just, started studying God's word and getting involved in women's retreats and stuff. And just really realized a relationship with God is a thing because I didn't even know that was a thing, Growing up, I didn't know that was an option.
Well, I did not grow up in a Christian home. We went to church when everybody was, acting right. If nobody had gotten drunk the night before, then we'd go to church on Sunday morning. And so, a lot of things happened to me as a kid. I was molested as a young kid. It started about 7 years old. So that kind of started me in a dishonest path because I never really could tell anybody about my life. So then I became a teenager and, the drinking, the drugs, all of that. At 16, I found out I was pregnant. My mom sent me to have an abortion. I didn't know what it was, but I went anyway and had that done. And, you kind of think that whenever you get married, that's the cure-all of everything. You're not going to have any more problems anymore. But that darkness continued to live inside of me that had started whenever I was young. And whenever I was, 32, 33, it completely took over. I had a 14-month affair while my husband was a preacher, in the church. he was my everything. And so I was about to lose that one thing. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, I did this to him, but it was not about him. So we split up. And whenever we split up, that's whenever I called out to God, because I'd never really had a relationship with him. I had lived all of that time with Alan as the Lord of my life. And so at 33, I called out to God to be rescued. And, he came at that instant and rescued me. So that was 33. I'm 59, and I have not looked back.
That's amazing.
I know. I'm like, can I get a redo of what I said? Because that was so good. I'm so deep and
I may actually, if you don't mind, let me jump in front of
go.
you, because Lisa and I have very similar. I'm gonna try and do this without crying. We have very similar stories. I actually did grow up in the church. I wouldn't say I grew up. Let's say for between the ages of like 5 to 7, which is when I first got baptized when I was 7 or 8. And my dad became a firefighter, and that's when we stopped going to church. It's 24 on, 48 off. You kind of don't get to pick and choose and I spent a lot of time with my dad and my mom back and forth because they were divorced, but my mom didn't go to church. She was raised as a Jehovah's Witness and was very like out of the religion. I think she believes in God now, but it wasn't a part of my life. I also was sexually assaulted multiple times throughout childhood into high school and college. The college one was really getting myself into those situations, because up until then, no one had showed me that I was worthy of anything like that. So I treated myself unworthy. I did the alcohol. I did all the drugs. If you would have met me back in those days, you're like, that girl's just trying to die. She doesn't care about herself in any way, shape, or form. And it actually wasn't until I met Justin that I even saw myself have any type of worth, and we'll get into it, I guess, because of how we met and stuff, but I'm originally from Nashville, and when we met, I knew pretty quickly that he liked me, and I was like, I'm not moving to Louisiana. Like, that's just not going to happen. I'm not leaving Nashville. And I was like, so I'm going to cut this off right now. I'm going to tell you everything about me. I'm going to tell you about all the people that I have been with. I'm going to tell you about all the drugs and the alcohol and everything in my family and all the things that have happened to me and that I've done. And when I told him all of those things, he looked me dead in my face and he was like, and I was like, do what? Like, it was just, I had never in my life experienced anything like that. It's actually funny that you found Jesus at 33, because I am currently 33. I will be 34 in April, but I just got baptized last August.
33 is Jesus year.
It is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Love you.
Well, I'll say my story is pretty similar to Alyson's. I always grew up in the church and always grew up knowing God and knowing Jesus. And I feel like I kind of had that double life thing in high school. And then I really was just knew God, but never really, I feel like, needed God. I just always kind of knew him and had a relationship, but wasn't ever didn't ever realize my need for him or my need for grace, I guess. And then it was kind of a weird thing. I just, all of a sudden, I feel like right around the time I was getting married, I just got really stressed, very a lot of anxiety. And I was in school and I had a lot of stress about being perfect, having good grades, getting married, having a perfect life, and always looking good and looking right and all this stuff. And then I just got a ton of anxiety. lost a ton of weight, was only caring about what I looked like, what my grades were, really myself. I was very selfish and just like cared only about me. And then caused a lot of like anxiety, and I didn't really think it was anxiety at the time, I guess, because my sister, a lot of people know this, but Sadie had struggled with anxiety and had like panic attacks, which I never really had that. It was just like constant state of like caring what everyone thought about me, like a lot of stress. And I just didn't really talk about it, but I feel like everybody around me knew something was wrong and constantly being like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yep, I'm good." But I feel like everybody in my life was staring at me like, "Are you okay?" And then my mom was like, "Why don't we go on a road trip to the beach?" And I was like, "Okay." So we got in the car, and right when we got in the car, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." And I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm getting emotional about this. It's not really like a super like emotional story, but I just got like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like something in my head is just making me really stressed. And anyway, me and her talked, and she was like, "Why don't we take a..." Oh, why?
It is
Emotional.
emotional.
Not
It is.
emotional, but,
I'm about to
like,
start crying with
she
you.
was just like there for me, you know, and just like knew that something was wrong. I don't know why this is gonna
Because moms know.
That's
bad
right.
right
That's
Moms
right.
know.
Yeah, basically I just like went on that trip with my mom and started going to therapy after that,
It's great.
and really started to like focus on just like I guess my need for Christ. And that was when I really realized like, dang, like I can't really like pull myself out of this, you know? Like I need
Mhm.
God and I need like someone else, because really like it wasn't me. It was really like a mental, like it was anxiety, and it wasn't anything that I was going to be able to just like pull myself out of. So I really recognized my need for God in that moment. And I feel like that season of life was very hard to get through, because it was like, I can't do anything to fix it. And all I wanted to do was just like check off the list of like
Mhm.
go on a walk and take a, you know, whatever, take a supplement and eat healthy and I'll be better. But like that wasn't how it worked. It was
Yeah.
like I had to fall on my knees in front of God and be like, I need you. Through time and stuff, I feel like everything got better. And now it's like, I don't know why I was so stressed. And even at the time, I was like, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
This is the best. This should be the best time of my life, you know? But I just was stressed and had a lot of anxiety. So I got through that season. I feel like now, through the years, just like maturity, I feel like my relationship with God is so much different now.
And yours is the perfect testimony for what can happen when you try to fix things on your own. Like
Mhm.
we really cannot do this without him.
Mhm.
Well, I think this is a great stopping place. John David always likes to end with a verse, so he was like, "You better end with a verse." And the verse of the day is perfect. It's Revelation 3:20. "See, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and eat with him and he with me." And it just, you know, is talking about whenever we knock at the door, when we seek him, like he is going to be there and draw near to us too. And he's always there waiting for us and pursuing us. But until we learn to pursue him and chase after him is whenever that's when things are going to change. So if you're struggling, you know, in your life or whatever, just seek God, and that is when things will start to change. So
For sure. He'll meet you where you're at too.
That's right.
It doesn't matter where you're at. He'll meet you there.
You don't have to be cleaned up
Nope.
and all pretty.
Yep.
He takes you right where you are.